In order for someone to change for the better, they have to expose themselves to new ideas. Ideas that actually goes against their thought process. We as humans are actually pre-programmed to think a certain way. Our families, religion, and society shaped us to follow a certain pattern of thinking. And to increase one's self-value, we need actually to increase our circle of knowledge. And one of the easiest and most accessible things we can do is read. A book is actually a whole person's life experience, gathered into words, paragraphs, and chapters. And reading books is one of the things I started doing since years now. After today's video, you will have a starting point. I'm going to present you with 5 books that seemed really interesting for me and are worth actually your time. And don't forget to watch till the 5th one. It's actually breathtaking. I read this book when I was in my 6th year of medical school. At that time, I was really busy with med school, night shifts, and studying. And on top of that, I had my YouTube channel and another business I was making content for in Tunisia. This book actually presented me with a new concept that I didn't know at that time. And it is, do less, but better. Many people mistake busyness with effectiveness, but the book argues that productivity is misunderstood. Instead of working harder and longer, people should be working on eliminating unnecessary efforts, converting energy, and directing attention towards what really matters. The idea is not to become lazy in the traditional sense, but to stop wasting energy on low-value activities. It made me ask myself a question every single day. If I can do one thing today, what would have the biggest impact? This book was one of the early starting points for me. It made me start my identity shift a couple years ago. A lot of people think nowadays that a change in their lives comes from the outside. But the idea here is really different. It's true that the habits that we do daily are important, but what actually motivates those habits? But instead of focusing on the goals, focus on becoming the person who achieves those goals. This book argues that lasting changes doesn't come from massive transformations, but from small improvements repeated consistently. James Clear here explains how habits are formed, how environment influences behavior, and how tiny actions compound through time into remarkable results. It's exactly what happened with my experience with the gym. Instead of saying I need to work out today, I say I am an athlete and working out is a part of my identity. This book for me felt like the second part of the Atomic Habits. It's like they complete each other's. It demonstrates how daily actions, repeated consistently over months and years, create enormous different outcomes. Success is rarely the result of one dramatic event. It's usually the result of countless tiny choices. Tiny actions plus time equals extraordinary results. Most people overestimate what they can do in a week, but underestimate what they can do in 5 years. Learning a language for 30 minutes every day for a year can make you bilingual. Running a few kilometers every day can make you a great runner in a year. Individually, these actions seem insignificant, but over years and years, they become life-changing. I read this book last year, after years of trying to grow different businesses during and after med school. I failed at some, and some others are still active till this day, but I always wanted to learn more about business. And this book changed everything I know and I believe about the subject. In this book, DeMarco challenges the traditional way of studying, saving money, and retiring late. He argues that true wealth comes from building scalable businesses and systems that generates value independently from your time. So the magic recipe here is wealth equals scales times value times control. Most people sell time for money. The wealthy build systems that creates value for thousands and millions of people. And I'll never forget this line in this book. If you want to make millions, you need to reach millions. I read this book in the last couple months of med school, just before graduation. It was written by a neurosurgeon who was diagnosed with terminal lung cancer at the age of 36. The book explores morality, purpose, medicine, and what makes life worth living when time becomes limited. The question here isn't how long you live, but what makes life worth living. As a doctor, Kalanithi spent years helping people to escape death. When he became the patient, he realized that meaning, relationships, and purpose matters more than longevity. This book forces readers to confront morality in a deeply human way. Interestingly, despite being on different topics, they all point to one direction. Your future is actually determined less by big decisions and more by repeated systems.